Okay, gang, today I'm going to go through this Columbus reading with you. We have two poems that we're looking at. One involves a poem that is pro Columbus, and one involves a poem that is con Columbus. And so I'm going to actively read the pro one with you, and then I'm going to show you how to make sure that you can access that information. And you can do that. Do the active reading for yourself on the con and then how to turn that in. So all of that's going to be kind of running through as we look at the next couple of minutes. So I'm going to switch here screens, hopefully, and you'll be able to see what's going on. I'll move myself up here a little bit so that that will help, and I'll make sure everybody can see. So the directions are obviously asking you to look at these two poems, one entitled Columbus Sailed the Ocean Blue, and then the other one is entitled 1492, a Columbus poem by Dana Hall. So we'll look at both of those things. So let's start first with this actively reading this first poem here. So um, hopefully, you learned some stuff from Mr. Herman when you were going through information on how to know about exploration. And so, Columbus is going to be our focus for this week. And so, we start with Columbus sailed, or in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had three ships and left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. So we're going to know that he's going to sail in 1492. That's going to be kind of important. This would be a connection. We know that 1492 is relatively speaking in the late Middle Ages. Okay, it's going to be in the late Middle Ages. And so, just on the cusp of what we would refer to as the Renaissance. We know that he's going to sail. We know that he is coming from Spain. So, Columbus is going to sail for Spain. Okay. Let's keep going here. He sailed by night, he sailed by day, he used the stars to find his way. A compass also helped him know how to find which ways to go. So, a compass here, this was a new invention, relatively new to people. It's going to show true north. And that'll help you if you're a sailor. He's also going to use the stars at night. We know that this is called an astrolabe. Okay, if you're not familiar with what an astrolabe is, let's see if we can kind of look one up here. If I go and I'm going to move myself, let's see. Okay. So if we look for astrolabe picture here, it's going to look kind of, it's looks like this. It's not necessarily a compass, but it kind of looks like one. It would be set to the stars, and you would use it. You would hold it up in the air, and you would look at stars, and it would measure where it is in comparison to the horizon, and it would help you figure out where you are located. This is super helpful at night. Okay, especially if I am a person who's sailing around the world, I don't have any landmarks to look for. So this was definitely super helpful at night. So let's keep on going here. 90 sailors were on board. Some men worked while others snored. When the workers went to sleep, the others watched the ocean deep. So one half of the time you work, and one half of the time you would sleep. Okay. It was definitely a give and take. Half of the people would be doing one thing while the other half were doing something else. You can't stop the boat in the middle of the water at nighttime. Okay. Just as simple as that. So everybody had to work. Day after day, they looked for land. They dreamed of trees and rocks and sand. Okay. So our goal, okay, is our goal here. That says goat, Miss Letterber. Our goal is to find land. Okay, that's what we're going for here. Okay, and so continuing the poem over here. Okay, October 12th, their dream came true. So October 12th, they found land. Okay, so yeehaw. You never saw a happier crew. Indians, Indians, Columbus cried. His heart was filled with joyful pride. But India, the land was not. It was the Bahamas and it was hot. And so, this idea of Columbus calling these natives, okay, he's going to call the natives these Indians based on the fact that he believes that they're from India. Don't forget that Columbus believed that the world was smaller in circumference than it actually was. That was his problem here, okay? The Arkawa natives were very nice. They gave the sailors food and spice. Columbus sailed to find some gold to bring back home as he'd been told. So, this is a connection. Gold, God, and glory. Okay? Remember, we talked about that. Gold, God, and glory. Columbus is looking for gold, God, and glory. Definitely he's going to find some gold here and he's going to want some more. Okay. Also, spices. Why are they looking for spices? Because they believe that they're in India. Okay. Another reason why Columbus is going to feel like he's in India is because he is looking for those spices. And we've talked about that, especially with trade across Asia. Okay. He made the trip again and again. Okay. More than once. Trading gold to bring to Spain. The first American? No, not quite. But Columbus was brave and he was bright. I want you to take note of this. This is going to be super important in your next poem. This idea of being brave and being smart is going to be something that this is going to come back again. Okay. So the first thing that we needed to do was to actively read this poem, which we have done. Now, I gave you a second poem, and this is what your assignment is based on. Okay. So your assignment is based on actively reading this second poem. So remember, I told you there's a pro poem and a con poem. This is going to be pro Columbus. Okay? So if this one is pro Columbus, guess what this one is? This is con Columbus. Okay? This is the one that's not going to be so nice about Columbus. So, with that, we know we're going to make that our focus. What was bad about Columbus? That's what your focus is going to be. Of course, we're going to underline, we're going to have question marks, we're going to have connections, we're going to have images. All of those things that we're used to. Now, these connections I want you to look at the other poem. You need to be making connections to that other poem in this poem. So as you're reading this, you need to make sure that you make those connections between this poem and this poem. Okay? Both of those things need to be true. So, how do you actively read in Canvas? That's really what you want to know. So, let me go back to my Canvas screen here. Get myself out of the way. Okay, so here's the assignment. Okay, we've just read those poems. So it says open the following in a document, in a Google document. Below is a video as to how to actively read. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to click on this, and it's specifically going to ask you to create a copy. You want to create your own copy. You're going to click create a copy. Okay, this way your work will be separate from everybody else's work. Okay, so obviously have more than one tab open. Ms. Letterber is trying to get this to work. Okay, so you'll notice it says copy of Q4 week 4 Columbus exploitation. So what you're going to do is you're going to rename this. That's the first thing that you want to do. So we're going to click this as soon as it uploads here. Okay, here we go. So we want to rename this first. Now, this is going to save to your Google Drive. Okay, so you want to name it something that you know what it is. Okay, now I've named it Q4 week 4 because that's what helps me to know what it is. So I would leave that part there. So I would take out this word copy of. Okay, so I would delete that part. Hopefully. Okay, and at the end here, after Columbus exploitation, I would put a period and then I would put my initials so that you know what it is. Okay, simple as that. Hopefully. It's trying, guys. There's just a lot of people on the internet right now. So, if you notice, this document is set up just like we went through. So the first part, of course, is the section that we read, which is the poem that is pro-Columbus. The second part is going to be the part that's going to be con Columbus. Okay? Now, here's the problem with this particular medium. Since we don't have... Okay, let me get this back to where I want it here. Okay, since we don't have the symbols that we normally use when we actively read, we're going to have to make some adjustments. Okay, so when you scroll down here to our second poem, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set up your own system in your key of what you're looking for. Okay, so here's our focus. So we're going to type our focus in here, which I already told you what it is. Okay, it is what was bad. Maybe what was bad about Columbus? Question mark. Okay, now we're going to set up our own system of information here. So what I'm going to do is I may choose underline still. Okay, so if I want to choose underline, I would make an underline, and then I would write for focus. Okay. If I wanted to make my connections, let's say connections are going to be red. So I would write in the word connection. I would take and I would highlight it. And then I would take my highlighter tool and I'm going to make it red. Okay. So now I know, because I'm going to be grading you, I'm going to be looking at this as the reader. I know that when you highlight something in red, that means it's a connection. Okay. That's what you're looking for. So you'll go through, you'll make up your own key. Now, when you want to write something in here, okay, for example, you can't just highlight something and call it a connection. You need to tell me how it is a connection. What we're going to do is we're going to insert, okay, we're going to insert let me see. We're going to insert a comment, okay? So to do that, we need to go here to suggesting, okay? And then we're going to insert a comment. So if you notice, when I highlight something, it now comes up with a little box over here and I can click comment. And I'm going to actually include a comment as to why this was a connection or why it was a question. Okay. If that seems really difficult for you, it's okay to tab across here and put in your ideas. Either way is fine, but you definitely need to make sure that you are including what you need for your active read. Okay. So, my suggestion is that you need to make sure that you have included everything that you need in that active read. If you have questions or concerns, you need to make sure that you contact Mr. Herman and I. Will be available on Wednesday to help you out. Now, once you get all of this finished, this is super simple when you go to upload it.